Sup guys, Benji from Nikidra Gaming here, and I've got my 3-axis Dark Warrior deck profile to show you guys. Let's get right into it. So I'll show you the combo. This is the combo where you open Tour Guide and nothing else, but I'll show you a list up that kind of revolves around the same thing. So we'll normal summon Tour Guide, or activate Tour Guide's effect. I'm going to go into the deck and get a Sangan. They're gonna link these two off for Cherubini. We're gonna use Sangan's effect to get us Crusadia Arborea. And you'll note that even though Sangan says we cannot activate the effects of that card, we can still summon it because it doesn't actually activate. It's just a summoning condition. Then we're gonna activate Cherubini. And we're going to send Edge Imp Sabers here. You could actually just send Graph and summon Seer or something, or summon any BA. There's probably better things to do than this, but I just figured this one was, I don't know, you could draw this card and it's good anyway, right? It's just an extender. So I'm going to special summon that back. We're going to put one of these hand traps back on the top of our deck. Then we're going to link these two off and summon Rusty Bardish. So at this point, we are going to activate Bardish's effect. We're going to send... it would be very unfortunate if they were to Ash us here. But if we had enough extenders, we could probably play through it. But I would assume if they saw the tour guide, they'd probably just ash that and think you were playing Burning Abyss or something. I know that a lot of thought needs to go into this. But yeah, we're going to send this one. And we're going to set this. And then we're going to banish. Oops. We're going to banish that. We are going to banish our Ancient Cloak. We're going to get Boots. I'm going to activate. I'm going to summon this one because we control Phantom Knights monsters. And we are going to link these two off into Icehold. We're going to use Icehold's effect to search a warrior. And we're going to search Super Quantum Red Layer. So you'll probably know what's going on here from the Infernoble Knight combo, but this one's a little bit different. So we're going to go Icehold again, and we're going to ditch 4. So we're going to go Blade, Burial, Smoke Grenade, and Autonomous Action Unit. And we are going to special summon Armageddon Knight. We're going to use Armageddon Knight's effect. And we are going to send Plague Spreader Zombie. Now we're going to special summon Arborea. And we're going to Synchro Summon for Powerful Dragon. We're going to use Powerful Dragon's effect. And we're going to reveal 1, 2, 3 different dimension reincarnations. And add one of them to our hand. At this point, we're going to banish these two. Going to add back Blade. And while we're here, we may as well banish Silent Boots and get us Fog Blade. It doesn't really matter when you do that. We don't have any other targets now in this deck anyway, so it's not relevant, but maybe you could be searching a second shade or rank up magic in a different variant. Because there's so many ways you could go about this, but this is just, proof of concept. And how far it actually goes. So yeah, we are going to get ourselves a Fog Blade. Alright, now we are going to summon Linkross. And summon 2 tokens. Then we're going to summon Plague Spreader. going to put another hand trap back on the top of our deck. And then we're going to synchro, and this is now going to banish itself. And we're going to summon Tatsunoko. Then we're going to synchro, Tatsu, and our red layer here. We're going to summon Borrowed Savage Dragon. We are going to equip the Cherubini so we can banish the Isolde later for our combo with the Phoenix Blade. So we are only going to get 250 attack, but that's fine. This combo is pretty sick, so I think that's fine. Now we're going to DDR. Discard Phoenix Blade and summon the Plague Spreader back. Then we're going to Synchro Shokan once again for Metal Marcher. I'm going to use Metal Marcher's effect and summon Plague Spreader Zombie back. And then we are going to link off Marcher and Linkross for Pocket Fabrics. I'm going to use Hulk's effect, and we're going to summon another Plague Spreader. At this point, you've probably realized like this card's not once per turn, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But as we go on, we will put these two in to summon Union Carrier. And then we are going to put another card back on the top of our deck, and we're going to summon back one of our Plague Spreader zombies. That's then going to... we're going to synchro that off for 9 and summon Charles. And then we are going to banish our red layer and our Isolde. Get back our Phoenix Blade for the last time. And then I think at this point, if this card was a hand trap, it doesn't really matter. We're going to summon Dragoon later, spoilers. So I think discarding this and then being able to add it back might actually just be better. Like in a world where we lose our Rusty and our Charles, we can just banish them off, bring this back, have another negate for Dragoon. So we'll put this one back on the top of our deck. We'll summon back our second Plague Spreader zombie. Gonna banish this big boy. And link for Predaplant Verte, Anaconda. So we're going to pay our 2,000 here. Now activate Anaconda's effect. Red Eyes Fusion, gone. There you go. Send to the graveyard the 2 strongest monsters ever known to this game. Summon Big Boy. And we're going to use Union Carrier's effect. We're going to get Whelp. We're going to attach it to Savage Dragon. We're going to set a Fog Blade. And then we're going to go to the end phase, Smoke Grenade, activate Charles, Smoke Grenade will attach, and then Charles will activate to destroy it, ripping a card out of our opponent's hand. And at this point, your opponent will be playing with one less card, have to deal with Dragoon, have to deal with Savage Dragon, have to deal with Buster Whelp, and have to deal with Fog Blade. So what this means is it basically... there's no 1 or even 2 cards that deal with this, I don't think, unless they're very specific cards. So it kind of puts someone having to have, multiple things to get rid of this, which is just insane. They're trying to do something, discard this, next turn, draw a card, add this back. Say if they got rid of these cards, if they didn't, you just win anyway. So yeah, there's the combo. Alright guys, now you've seen the combo, let's have a look at the deck. I won't really go too in-depth into this because it's really not, there's not a whole lot of theory involved. I just wanted to build a well, for one, it had to be 60 cards because there's enough cards in this deck that you aren't looking to draw in combination with each other that you probably just want to play 60, right? To spread out those bricks and so, like, it doesn't matter because you put them back with Plague Spreader, but it's just, you know, this way you play a maximum of all your extenders and all your starters and hand traps and the fog blades, and 60 just seems to be the number. If you can cut it down and make it work, well, more power to you. I'd love to see it. But yeah, this is my deck. Armageddon Knight. You can, in theory, you can loop this card like over and over and over and over, but I figured out that, you know, when your best target for this card is Plague Spreader, you don't really want to be sending Plague Spreader. It's not once per turn, so you could potentially just activate Armageddon Knight 3 times 1 turn, send 3 of these, summon 3 of these, start doing crazy stuff with Link Cross, but you're going to have to put your entire hand back into your deck, and I'm not even sure if you'll have enough cards to discard off Dragoon by the end of that. So I thought, instead of trying to loop Armageddon Knight, I'd just summon it once, and then try and focus on summoning Plague Spreader multiple times instead, which we'll go into later. With the Ash Blossoms, I think this is probably the best hand drop in my deck. It's not high impact, but they're all level 3s, so they're not really high impact hand traps. They're just there to be partial starter cards to pair with my 3 extenders. Buster, pretty self-explanatory. Card locks you opponent out of their extra deck. Arborea, this card's really nice. It's a warrior, which is actually really relevant because it makes up perfect numbers for the Phoenix Blade at the end. Yeah, like you search with Sangan, so you only need to play 1. I'd potentially play more though. This card's actually just good. Like, it's good extender to draw. If you didn't draw Tour Guide, having this is just great anyway, so maybe I might bump it up to 2 or 3. But then the problem is you can't really, like, it's only an extender if you already have the 2 3s, so I don't know, have to weigh that up, I guess. Dark Grapher. So this is really just in here so that if I open Armageddon Knight, and I'd be very upset if I did, because this is the only card in the deck that I cannot open. Like, if I open this and I don't have Dark Grapher in my deck, I cannot do my combo. If I open this and Dark Grapher in the same hand, and I can't make the Cherubini without normal summoning, I cannot do my combo. So that's why the Grapher's in there. If I draw this, I can just go Grapher, pitch Armageddon Knight off of the Soul instead of summoning Armageddon Knight. Edge of Sabers, this card could be a Seer and Graph package for the Cherubini. It's just a dark to climb to Rusty. So that's really all there is to say about this. The reason I chose this is because it's a 3 extender as well, so there's just a world where my hand is some way to pitch this, and I can get more monsters on board. Like, just seems really good in that way. It puts cards back, which is very unfortunate, because our friend Plague Spreader Zombie also does that, but Ghost Bell, Mourner, Ogre, these are all, you know, they fit the same role. They're just hand traps. I don't want to get, like, Buster Locked. Like, you know, if my opponent can just summon a couple of negates and not Buster Lock me, like, if I can just, I don't know, usually if you hand trap them once, it puts them off that play, you know? Like, they can still summon a whole bunch of stuff, but, like, that seems to be the way to get rid of that. And if I can do that and maybe just try to push through, you know, so I think the hand traps in that aspect are good. Or, you know, Ash versus anything is really okay. Kagamusha Knight pairs with the hand traps, pairs with Sangan, pairs with Tour Guide. It's just another 3. This can chain block Tour Guide, which is really fun. Plague Spreader. This is the best tuner in the game at the moment, apparently. I play 2 because you summon 2 in the combo, which you just saw before, but yeah, like, you could probably play 3. I don't think drawing this card is really that bad. Like, you have, like, a lot of discard outlets, right? And if you were to potentially draw this card and combo through, there would be a point where you could just summon a hand trap off of your Hulk instead and have access to the Plague Spreader, I believe. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that would work. But anyway, yeah, I don't know, maybe 3 of this just because card's good. Psychic Tracker, Psychic Wielder. These cards are the same card. They just summon. This is a tuner, so this one's significantly better actually, because your combo is 2 level 3s and a tuner monster, which is Tour Guide on its own because of Sangan, which is very nice. Which is basically, this deck is basically proof of concept of how far Tour Guide will go on its own. And like, I understand that you do need to dilute your deck with like a lot of bricks and stuff, but I do think this would be pretty, I don't know, could be good in the future. And there is ways to tweak this deck to play it without Hulk. So if this card gets banned and they miss the rest of the stuff, you could potentially still play this deck, or like a weaker version of it. Yeah, so Sangan's nice, Tacton Borg and Terratop. This card's like, if this was at 3, it'd be insane. It's like the best card in the game. Red Layer. So this is for Tatsunoko, makes the 8. Probably know about the Infernoble Knight players know about this. Cloak. Not much to say. I could probably just play 3 Cloak, but 2 Cloak and 1 Glove seems better for the off chance that I want to be able to go Gloves into Fogblade, like into send Fogblade into summon back Rusty or summon back one of these guys to just keep playing. Like in a later game state where I've like Fogbladed them and they've got some guys, I've got some guys. So that's why I played that ratio. 3 Boots because it's probably the best one. This card's really nice, like just having a card in your hand that you can pitch and then banish to get a trap. It's just good. Tour Guide is at 3. Hip hip hooray. Everybody celebrate. Yeah, so this is a fun card. Does probably more than it has any right to at the moment, but BA for life. Dark Magician, Red Eyes Black Dragon. These cards are pretty cool. I played the original art. Yeah, Red Eyes Fusion. This card's, once again, like usually you draw this card and you're just like, but not in this deck because you just put it back with Plague Spreader. But yeah, that card's cool. This card probably get banned one day. I don't see them banning this in the TCG. It just seems like way too much of a cash grab. They can reprint this into Oblivion and just people just eat it up, right? Yeah, so auto action unit, good card. Summon a guy from your opponent's graveyard, so they hand trap you, just keep going. So this is especially good if they like Ash you or something, right? Because they go Ash and then just summon Ash, make Hulk. Hulk on its own doesn't actually do heaps in this deck though, but it does like enough. Where like at the very least you're probably going to end on like a Synchro plus Dragoon. Called by the Graves at 1, that's like really sad. This is just so sad. Why? Yeah, so like I said in my previous ban list reaction video, but this card has gone from 3 to 2, back to 3, and then now down to 1. Like, is Called by the Grave good or not? Like, I think this is my tinfoil hat theory, but I think they just limited this purely to try and sell tactics and probably cross out in the future, which is very unfortunate. They do like doing that with cards. 3 DDR. DDR's nice. This can loop Armageddon Knight a billion times, but in this deck we go Armageddon Knight Send, and then we summon the Plague Spreader, it gets banished, we bring it back with DDR. And then when it gets into the grave, we can banish, we can summon it again by putting a card back and banish it when it leaves the field, which is just too good. Sword is nice. Just this being you can add it back over and over again, so it gives you discard fodder. Like, if you couldn't play this card, this combo actually wouldn't work because you wouldn't have any cards to discard. So, big ups to that one. Teleport, best card, best 3 extender in the game. If this card was at 3, this deck would be a lot better. But yeah, summons Ghost Ogre, so it summons a tuner, it summons a level 3. So it does both the things you want it to do, and it's not like any, like Die or Tracker where you have restrictions on what you control or controlling a certain thing to summon it. It just summons anytime. And like the banishing is like irrelevant. Oh, and the other cool thing about this card is that you can set it as defense and then summon Ghost Ogre in their turn, and they have to like play through it, right? So that kind of makes things awkward for them. Foolish Burial, this card could be something else. I don't know, it's not great, but it's the one card you can draw and kind of feel safe to them hand trapping the right things, assuming you have extenders, because it just lets you send Plague Spreader anyway, which just seems really nice. Like that's kind of the point of this deck is, I sold into Plague Spreader. It's what make it work. Fossil. This card's... Oh yeah, this could probably be at 3 and this could be at 1. Or, like, if you really, really wanted to, this card could probably just be at 3 alongside this card. You can only activate one per turn, which is kind of unfortunate. But, having 3 to reveal off DDR might actually just... to reveal off Powerful Dragon might actually just be better than DDR. Overdone Burial. That card's kind of shit, but I don't know. Like, there's things, you draw, like a 4 or something and summon a 3 back. But for the most part, or, like, things go wrong, I sold a target to get this live. Like, because that's the thing, about this deck, is things can go wrong, so you're not probably going to pull this off very often, but it's a very cool, how far does Tour Guide go? Like, this is how far Tour Guide go, Smoke Grenade, why this isn't banned is beyond me, dude. Like, yeah. Dude. Yoink. I'll take that card out of your hand. Fogblade and Shade. These cards are nice, and you'll notice, like, very few trap cards, evenly matched, because that card's just insane, but, like, around the board, because this card's just... Like, there's a world where I play Impermanence, just because that card seems really good, but then it conflicts with this, so... Probably not. And yeah, the 3 Fogblade are just really good. Just being able to search Fogblade is nice. Side deck. I'm sure you know what all these cards do. Dragoon. This card's really nice. Anime, Protagonist, Boss Monster card. Savage. What's to say? Like, really, probably the best 8 synchro in the game. Probably will be for a very long time. Charles, this card's really nice because it just pairs with Powerful Dragon and Plague, which is just very convenient. Marcher, another very powerful card, enables you to just recycle your tuners, which seems really unfair. Like, alongside Link Cross and just being able to create so much advantage off so little amount of cards. Power Tool, this not really much to say. Reveal 3, like I said before. There's a world where you swap these. I don't know. I like DDR. I think it's a nice card. It's like, even early on, if you have like these and you can just like kind of keep going after you summon one of these, and you banish it and you can summon it back, and you'll have a Fogblade to protect you. Yeah, Tatsu, very good. Tatsu and Red Layer into Boral. I don't think there's really much else you'd use Tatsu for, but yeah, I really like this card. Access Code and Unicorn, should probably talk about these two because they weren't in the combo. Self-explanatory though, just go second, clear more cards. It's more... If you climb from Cherubini, basically, into Unicorn, into Access Code, you give them less choke points when you want to try and summon... maybe you want to try and summon Isold. Probably not though, but more likely summon Hulk and keep throwing monsters on board to get Dragoon and your synchros out once you've pushed through the disruptions. But yeah, for the most part, these could even be, I don't know, more combo cards if I worked out another way to do this that plays around hand traps better. Because that's another thing, you do kind of lose pretty hard to hand traps if your opponent knows what they're doing, or knows what you're doing, should I say. Cherubini, this is probably my favourite linked monster in the game at the moment. I always like coming back and visiting Cherubini every format because it seems to do some pretty crazy stuff. It usually gets outclassed by most of the other decks, but maybe we might be getting to the point where this is just the best card in the game. Soon, anyway. How can Isold probably outclass it, but I don't see those two cards sticking around much longer. We have, yeah, obviously Hulk. This card probably should have got, but the funny thing about this is, even though they banned the two best tuners in the game at the moment and kind of made Auradon bad, so you have to be creative with it, it didn't really decrease the power level of this card at all. Like, this card's still fucking stupid. I wouldn't advocate for this being legal if I were going to create a ban list, but you know, at the same time, like, nobody's actually got to play any events, so they've kind of got themselves in a hole here because it's just going to get to the point where they're not going to be able to sell their product anymore. But no, that's a discussion for another video. Rusty. This card came back off the ban list. This is one of my favorite cards ever printed. I just like, I love it. Like, I remember reading this card and just thinking like, oh my god, this does so much. Like, you know, it gets you a body on board and it gets you a Fog Blade. And the other thing about this card is just the Xyz effect, which doesn't come up in this deck, but it's just insane. Like, if you play this in Orcus, you can just pop a bunch of cards for no reason. Like, no reason at all. Like, it doesn't need to have that effect to be good, which is shown in this deck. But, Isold. Another crazy card. Crazy. I don't know, I definitely see this getting banned one day. It just doesn't say Noble Knight on it. You know, like, oh. Funny enough, Noble Knights are borderline a meta deck at the moment, so, or maybe even a meta deck. Apparently, people saying that deck's still pretty hot shit, so. Linkross, this card's getting banned for sure. This may as well be a deck of cards that could probably get banned in the future, because it just abuses the best of every world in this deck. Like every card's, you know, like, you've got Verte, you've got Hulk, you've got Isold, you've got Cherubini, like, you know, just like basically lets you get wherever you want. And then Union Carrier, which, you know, once again, Busterwell probably should be banned. I wouldn't advocate for banning this because I think it does some other cool stuff. You know, like, for example, this card in Spiral can summon Doom Orthoros. Activate Doom Orthoros and equip it to a monster, which is when it's sent to the graveyard, searches you a Fiend monster from your deck, which lets you search Spiral Sleeper, so it kind of gets around Resort being banned. Stuff like that I think is really cool, but like this card, like I don't think anyone gives a flying fuck if Buster Blader players don't get to play their deck. Like, I'm sorry, Buster Blader players, like all three of you, like, I'm so sorry, but this card has to go. It's gotta go. Well, anyway, that's the deck. So I suppose I'll end off with asking if you think there's anything I could improve, or maybe there's like another route you think I could go. Please let me know in the comments, and comment, like, subscribe. Use Gaming5 for 5% off your purchase at nikijo.com.au, and yeah, well, peace out, guys.